happy it's spring?
Yes. We springing into the spring. We about to get ready to go into April showers.
April showers brings May flowers.
Ta-da! So y'all, we gonna come at y'all hard and strong.
Cause it's our birthday month, okay? And you know how we know about their birthday month. We love our birthdays.
Taking it straight to it. And we might be coming to a city near you.
Oh,
and we might take it there too.
Girl, not
a city near you.
See how God be working.
See how he be working. Springtime. The
spring
has sprung.
The spring has sprung.
So let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it because I know y'all missed us. We missed y'all. In honor of Women's Month, we want to talk about one of the things that definitely drives our platform and being in the Soul Tribe, which of course, you know, we love our men, but you know, we women first.
Yeah, so we're gonna get right into it.
Right into it.
And before we go any further into our episodes and we get deeper and we get deeper and then we start diving into everybody else, we're gonna acknowledge the women, especially some of the women that been essential in our lives.
Essential in our lives. Oh, and you forgot your disclaimer. Make sure y'all get out y'all journals.
Get your journals out. You might have to, I don't know if today gonna be a tissue day or it might be a laughter day. So I don't know if you might need your popcorn.
Yeah, you're gonna need something.
You're gonna need something.
Because this is gonna, I'm actually excited about this one.
Yes.
This was not on our radar originally, like so early into our season to be talking about this. But we had a really good conversation. Yes. And I was like, we have to talk about that. And in honor of Women's Month, it just coincides very great with it. We wanted to end it on a high note. It's going into Easter weekend, so we hope everyone has a great weekend with their families and friends and loved ones. But we wanted to end Women's Month on this note because it is very, very dear to us. So we were talking about honoring women and the things, how being a woman at this age, at this big old age,
big age,
didn't seem quite as important as it did now, like as it does now.
Yes. And
the involving of what the different levels, the different seasons, the different trials and tribulations, the stages, the positivity things of that evolution of being a woman. So this episode we are entitling Womanship.
Okay, let's get into it.
So one of the things that we talked about was what was your first perception or your first outlook on someone, you know, on a woman in your life, or someone that you look to, who you just honor, who you admire as being a woman. And as a woman, we ain't talking about femininity.
Yeah, we're not talking about femininity.
We're talking about just a woman. Because at that age, when you're an adolescent, or I don't know if I dug into femininity until 30s.
Yeah, because really when we was younger, it wasn't then.
No.
Was not till our 30s. So we'll get to that part as we evolve as a woman.
Right.
So I'll go into it.
Okay.
My woman, the woman that I admired, from the time I was a little girl, when I realized like the difference between man and woman, was my mom.
Okay.
It was always like and she can.
Was you infatuated like with just?
Yes, I still love my mama like that, but I realized like as we evolve, like we're two different women, but I still admire her.
Yeah.
But when I was a little girl, it was just like, oh, that's my mom. Like, oh, that's my mom. I love her hair. I love her clothes. Like, I just like, oh, her makeup, like everything. Like, oh, she was just like, oh, she cooked and she, you know, how she just kept herself up. I just love Cynthia.
Yeah.
That was my woman who I admired when I was little.
Okay. Mine is my mother. Definitely, of course. I think for me, though, what I now consider that womanhood, that then, of course, as we talk into femininity, that's going to get really in deep, was, of course, my mom. However, I think since I was maybe an only child, I definitely got some of the masculinity also. So although I had the distinction very well on, my mother Okay, let me back up because this is to make the story make sense. Oh well, before I go there, let me say this.
Yes,
let me take it there. So for me, my mother she's a very dear, true, hardworking, ambitious, like career driven. Early on, there was a very distinction between her and my dad, and so I viewed womanhood as like go getting and she going after everything. I think for my mother, because my grandmother had mental health issues since my mama was little. Right, basically, right? She was diagnosed with bipolar, which they didn't learn till later. Okay. And so I think my mom missed a lot of like the girly kind of feminism part.
Okay. Gotcha.
However, I think she put me in spaces that allowed me to gain those things. So like my mama couldn't do lick her hair.
Okay, got you.
My grandmother like completely traumatized anything to do with her.
Oh, okay.
Like when she did the hot comb, she would hit you upside your head, like to the point where my mama was like, I ain't doing no hair. Like she wore Afro natural hair for the longest, like a nouveau perm. Like she was for the longest. So she was like, okay, well, and she tried a couple of times to do that hair.
Yes.
And it would be a fight every Sunday night. And my daddy would be like, Nanny, like you can't, you gotta have to do something else.
Yeah.
So I've been in the beauty shop since I was like 5, 6, early.
See, we have similarities like with that. So my mom, she was the oldest daughter out of 3 girls. So she was the hair comber. She was all of that.
Yeah.
But same thing, just come from a background of educator. So her mom was an educator. Her mom was my grandma. Her mom was an educator. So they had that same go to them too. But it was just like a different mannerism, probably because I don't know if it was my dad, he was there, so he took on that kind of like that masculine role more so than my mom. So she always was able to sit in her like that's one thing I always admire. Like I've never seen her have to like take it there with nobody. Like I've always had to take it there with people. Like I've never seen her.
See, and my mom was different because
and
I think
she handled business in a mild manner.
See, and I think because my mama was the oldest, she was a part of kind of the trauma with my grandmother early on. Like she always been strong.
Yeah.
Like, and I think so strong that my dad actually brought more of like the girliness out of her. Out of me.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because it was a very distinction early in the household who runs stuff.
Yeah.
And even if they tried to hide it, like it was clear. And so, and because my mom she was a full-time educator. So my dad picked me up. He took me, like he did all of the daily things with me.
Yes.
And so he had no choice but to kind of like not be girly, but like introduce me to that. So like the Barbies, the tea time. My dad did that with me.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So, and it's not that, and then I don't know if she was able to get that side. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
But I guess more so, and this is just to give the grace on, because I even have to look at it with my daughter, like since I had a daughter.
Yeah.
And so with the outlook on it, like when you have a daughter. But, and then like even from my dad perspective, most of the time we learn our feminine side from the male aspect versus the woman.
Right.
Because I learned that part too, like even when I look at it, like with how I wore my clothes and how you was to, like when you walk in, how you was supposed to present yourself. But I knew the mannerisms that I wanted to portray. So I guess we hadn't got to, how would you do
the mannerisms?
Yes, with your traits. Like with your traits, because we all got similar mannerisms that we have with our mom. Because you take charge woman too.
Yes. I mean, like I mirror it.
Yes.
Down to the point where it kind of makes up my head. Because it be like,
and that's with us too. We be like, and then be like, Brittany.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mama, you the one who taught me this.
Yeah,
like, I'm handling it.
And
just
recently,
like
we had a conversation at a family gathering, maybe about a month or so ago, and she was like, we were at a table, all women. It was my aunt, which that's another person who
you admire.
I admire. If anybody knows me, the infamous Aunt Darlene, that is my sweetheart. Like, she had boys. She didn't have no girls. And honestly, I was kind of the closest girl, although there were other girls. But I think that since my mom was the oldest, she took the role of the head of the household early.
Yes.
Head of the family early.
Yes.
Which is fine, right? So anyway, we had a conversation, and she was like, "But that's what I'm trying to not have you do. I want you to be softer." And it's like,
Mama.
I'm trying to learn it now, but I didn't know that.
Yes, but no, I can't be softer when you.
Yeah, and like, so I think I didn't, and to give grace to her, because I know that it took her, having to navigate that space of not getting nurtured in a very feminine way.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So having to go then and navigate it probably when she was in college or in her adulthood. And so I talk about her a lot, if you know me, because again, I'm the only child and we close as I don't know what, even though there's a huge age gap. So that's another difference too.
Yes. Because
my mama didn't have me till she was almost 37.
So it was more of she was more aware of herself.
She was. And she was like
she
I had,
knew what she wanted for you.
And she like, you're not wearing that, you're not. No. I mean, she just was in a different space, which a lot of my friends growing up, their mamas was out in the clubs, partying, having a good old time. Audrey was, let's go to dance practice on Saturday.
You probably was more so the safe haven.
Yeah. Because she like, I done already did that.
Yeah. So
I can be in a different space and realm. So I think, I just think that view early on was, and so, which now I don't know if this is a black woman thing, because of course I've never been nothing but a black woman.
Nothing but a black woman.
Is that headstrong kind of demeanor that you get early on, even though you may have the femininity sprinkles in there, but the soft, I didn't see none of the soft.
No. Well, we're going to get into that to describe that.
Yeah, okay.
As to why we kind of get that headstrong personality trait. And I think it's because that's more so we don't get overlooked. And so that's something that we've been taught from your dad and from your mom. Right. Grandmama, aunties, whoever. If you was more so the mild-mannered kid and you probably was soft-spoken, you probably was taught you need to step up, you need to speak up, because you're going to have this person, they're going to override you. Right. And you need to know when to step up, when to talk, when to speak. And then you got the one who might be the loud, overly confident one where you have to tell her, hey, you might have to peel back a little bit. Right. But you need to know when to step up and you need to shine. Yeah. So we kind of that's something I think as a black woman, that's something that's embedded in the girls.
In the community. Because
in the community, but more so in the girls that are early onset, where we get it faster than the boys.
Because every woman in my family was handled
because almost every woman that I admired is because they are a headstrong.
Yes, woman. Me too. Mm-hmm. Like they all handle.
Yes, and that's how when we go into the evolution of a woman, right? When we get down to the feminine traits, and then we get to how it gets combative with the male perspective, and then with other people and stuff. I really don't understand why anybody have an issue with it. Right. Because to be honest, y'all known this since we was how old? Since we started talking. Right. Because that's something that's embedded. Every parent embed that into their daughters.
And their daughters.
Into their daughters.
And I don't think it's necessarily when you say I think it's a natural thing. Yeah. I remember my dad being like, yeah, I want you need to be strong, independent like mom. Mm-hmm.
Because you don't need to depend on any man.
You don't need to depend on nobody. You need to be strong.
Depend on a man for this,
he never, all This is the different in the dynamic. Although he didn't appreciate her being that independent.
Yeah.
But he knew, as a daughter, I need to tell you, you need to be like that.
Yes. Because that have you not worried about leaning on someone else and you having to sit in something.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just was like, so although I was grateful to who and I appreciate so much who and my mother is, and then how she demonstrates womanhood.
Yes. And her strengths.
Because the thing about these moms, like these old school kind of moms,
yes,
they demonstrate their womanism to everybody else. Like it's like a gift.
A gift. And it's like something when they walk. And when I said strengths, I'm gonna put it like this. One of my mom's, her strengths, one of the greatest strengths that I say that Cynthia has to me is how she could remain calm. Like she could remain calm and she could just walk, or she could walk into a room and she, like, if something's bothering her, you really can't tell. And I might could tell, my dad probably could tell, my brother probably could tell, or someone who's close to her be like, girl, you really don't know that was crawling, eating her up under her skin.
But you know what?
But for her to be so calm, that's something that's a strength that I admire, and I'm just now coming into that.
Never, when you say, and we, because we know Cynthia and all different words. When you say Cynthia, I'm like, I don't ever see Miss Cynthia do nothing but just smile and laugh and take it in. It's like she moves
the room she just moves the room like
she got snappy or what?
Baby, and when she gets snappy, if y'all think my snappy is
snappy,
babe, and she could do it without even having to say that. She's like, and I'd be like, oh, I just want to be like that when I get older. And when I was younger, I used to be like, I just want to be like that when I get older.
My mom is a natural investor. Like, you say, I want to make my own juices. I want to start juicing. You can literally be having a conversation with her, and you just have. She gonna figure out, okay, what do you need to do to get the juices?
Yes.
And this is anybody.
Yes.
If anybody,
how many
been
juices
around
you need
us,
to make?
Yeah, like Bryt, you know you can get such and such containers. It's been times I've said, hey, I got this idea. She done looked up like, oh, I was thinking about doing a fitness line one time. This is the first when I started working out, way before the pandemic, but before I had my last child. And she literally was looking at, she was like, hey, I looked at some of the tags on the tights I was wearing to figure out where they were made from. You should look this up. Anybody. I've had friends, Monica, catering, chef. Oh, I got a ton of cookbooks to give her. I mean, like, she just naturally is an investor. And not naturally outside of that, she holds you accountable. Yes.
Because it doesn't let you back down. So it's like, no, you said
if you done put this out in the earth, I'm going to do that.
So if you want to do it, let's do it.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to step into it.
Right. And that is,
and it makes you that entrepreneur. That's why you got that entrepreneur spirit.
Yeah, because it's like, oh,
you can't back down, no. Because mama here. What you
she
mean?
literally believes you can do anything.
Oh, when you feel like you slipping, oh baby, get up.
Now she's gonna bring it to reality, because a part of that is bringing you to reality.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, okay, well, this is what you want to do. Like, you're holding you accountable. Let me show you what the realism is to do it. It's like, and it's just something that I just be like.
And even like we said with are you ready to give? Are you ready to receive? And sometimes it's like, I'm going to hold you accountable. Even though I know you might not be ready to receive this yet. But let me go on and show you what all comes with it.
Yes!
Because you might not realize what all entails with something until you sit down. And then you have someone who might be your think piece where they like, oh, let me put X, Y, Z together to be like, oh, okay. And that's good to have.
Yes.
That's part of the soul tribe.
Yes. Because it's just I know that now. Because I think definitely, like, when I was younger, they divorced early when I was like 10. I know that wasn't easy.
Yes.
Especially now.
Yes.
Going through what I've gone through. Like, to even if y'all wasn't at the least, because they was the farthest from compatible.
Man.
Like, I could definitely see that early on. So it's like, because of that, even still in that, having to now transition, although she was the breadwinner, she was, she was, like I said, the stronghold of the two.
Yes.
Still having to transition in that, still having to
go
learn
from
to navigate
2 to 1.
Yes,
and
then raising a daughter by herself, like all of these things that now you have to pull out yourself that she might have didn't get. She might have didn't understand like certain things that I went through as a teenage girl. And through college. You know what I'm saying?
Man. And then having to function through, okay, well let me make sure she okay, the feelings and all that stuff. Because just think about it, even though your dad, you still had a relationship with him and stuff, when you go from that 2-parent household to a 1-parent household, now she's also having to be mom and dad. So it's something she had to be tough on you.
She was. And we were very unrelatable.
And it's okay.
Until I got to college.
And it's okay.
Yeah, because it was, and now that, and I always give grace on it, that's why I say even through therapy, it's certain things that I worked on myself till I realized she didn't know.
Yeah. And even if she did, like, you gotta look at it, she having to play both roles.
She did the best that she could.
She did the best that she could, but then, like, some things, just like, if it was with your dad and stuff, like, would he have been that, like, if he would have been that think piece on it, would you had, like, sooner or later, that, the man, they kind of step back and, like, you have to figure it out. Because that's just kind of like the male perspective. Sometimes you have to hit your head a couple of times and then get back up.
Right.
And she probably, even though it might have been, like, a little toughness to it, it's okay.
Yeah. And I understand it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not nothing I've held a grudge on. Now I probably wrote it like a motherfucker in my journal. At 16, like, damn it.
Yeah.
But you had to leave to go to college.
Yeah, but you had to bump your head.
Oh, definitely.
You had to bump your head. Cynthia let me bump my head after she cussed me out. She would cuss me out like,
we had a brawl.
No, I never had no brawl with my, like, you know how some people say they had like those brawls.
Well, she had the brawl. She whooped my ass.
Yeah, no, I never had one.
We did. She whooped my ass, and I whooped my ass.
And I know some people probably like, y'all, baby, like when I make those comments and I be like, my mom and my daddy do not sit over there and walk up and start talking about some, I would give you a look like, don't walk up and try to embarrass me in front of my parents.
About who you was and where you was.
Who I was, because they know who their kid is.
Yeah, my mama knew. Well, they know.
They know who I am, but you ain't got to go. You ain't got to
go there.
So what are you trying to prove? I am the only daughter. I am perfect. They know I'm not perfect, but you know what I mean.
Trying to ruin that in their eyes.
Yeah, don't come over here without it.
I didn't have nobody else to blame it on.
Yeah, don't come over here with too much B-sides. Don't come over here with
girl,
too much
they know. They know.
Yeah, but when you get to doing too much, they be like, yeah, because girl, we know y'all probably
come on, Anita Jane. I'm like, bro,
calm down.
You doing too much.
Don't do that in front of my kids and my mom. And my dad. Pipe down.
Pop it down. So we talk about like the male perspective, because I think this is important. A lot of times we do talk about the femininity. We talk about, what that looks like. But what does dads contribute to your view? Or just males. Maybe you had an uncle. Maybe you had a grandfather. And I'm talking to the audience. I know our stories. But I'm saying, how does that male idea
contribute to
your view of being a woman in those early ages and stages when you look back on it?
Back when I look back on it, when I was a little girl all the way to now, like, and this is just my perspective, like, if I had to sit back and think, because when you was saying it, like, you threw me for a loop with that, I didn't think you was going to.
My bad.
But that kind of was like my view on, it was very contradicting. I don't know if that's the right thing to say, because their view on
yes.
Okay,
I can see that.
So when I was a little girl, so when and this is when the feminine traits and all that stuff. That's because we wasn't mature enough to understand that.
Right.
But I love how like our kids now, like they so aware of everything.
Yes.
And like they teach so much like masculine and feminine. They teach stuff like
that.
that.
Yeah, because my oldest, we talk about it. And I'm like,
and you like, no, that's very feminine. That's very this.
Yeah.
So like they could, like you could just like characteristic traits. And so like as a woman, I'm a woman now. I'm grown. I'm a grown woman now. And as a little girl, when we was younger, when we was taught, like, when you a woman, you supposed to be this, you supposed to cook, you supposed to clean, you supposed to do this. Mm-hmm. No, those are attributes. Like, to me, that's stuff that you contribute, because not every woman cook.
Right.
Not every woman clean.
Right.
And not every woman is quiet and calm and just sit there and just prim and proper.
Right.
But as a little girl, we was taught to, you don't let nobody do this to you. You don't let nobody do that. And like, you don't let nobody, like, I felt like when I was younger, it was just like, if a boy walk up to you and he try to do this, you make sure you say no. You don't let him do this. You don't let him treat you this kind of. And then even as a teenager, and then
so you had talks like that. Your dad had talked with you about boys.
Yes, and like what boys would do to like try to get over on you. Mm-hmm. So I just always looked at it like from like a girl perspective, because I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh, they always gonna try to get this. Like, they always gonna want something. Everything is always a barter type relationship. You get what I'm saying? It's like if I take you on a date and I pay for the date, they gonna wanna fuck. I hate to say it like that. If a dude tell you cute, it always came with something else. And then if a dude tell you, oh, I like your smile, it was like, oh, he liked my smile. Like when it's something that was like a person, like not something that was outside of your personality or something. Or like if you talking too much or you get loud, then you're more so masculine. But I never understand. That's the things that male, I could say, the contribution to like my journey in womanhood. Like, and that's what I think, and the only reason why I'm saying certain things is because that's certain things that in my journey through womanhood that I had to learn how to control, like with speaking out and like peel back a little bit. And like then I didn't understand, but like when we used to be like, and I say high school and college, when we used to go out, that's when we got into our era of like, we going to the club, we want to be out. And my daddy used to say, you ain't got to be at every party. You ain't got to shut down every club. He used to always say that, and I used to be like, what do you mean? Now you can't pay me to be the last one walking out the club. Now you really can't pay me to go to a club unless it's a planned event. And it's got to be a celebration. And like now I understand, or like, what's the difference between a girl and like, so now I understand like certain stuff like that. Or like if I end up getting into like a disagreement with a man, shut up, Brittany. You don't have to say nothing. Now as a 37 at this big age, I'm able to sit back and be like, okay, but that was from a grown man perspective. But then like with the I grew up with nothing but boys. I was the only girl. We talked about this too.
Yeah. As far as like cousins, neighborhood, I always was the only girl.
In the neighborhood, the only girl on the street. So it was like, when we was outside, they out there playing basketball. I'm out there playing basketball too.
And that is the difference. If you grew up were born like in the 80s, and you grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s, there was no distinction of what girls and boys do. Like, we did everything together.
And just think about it. You like out on the street running and stuff, and y'all having a race, and like you really trying to outrun me, and I'm a girl.
And I'm really trying to beat your ass too.
Yeah, and I'm gonna win.
The boys in my neighborhood would actually play dolls with me. Like, we would play house.
Yeah. Cause you want me to go play basketball?
They were like, oh yeah, you want me to go play with you? They're like, okay, well I do something you want to do today. Like, we literally did everything together. And like jumping out the roof. We riding bikes, we riding bikes. Yeah. Come to my house and
that's what we thought
playing with Barbies.
And that's what we thought playing house was.
Nintendo 64. Like I played everything that and they did not trip.
Man, do you think I went on all them bike rides? Cause I wanted to. I did not. I wanted to rollerblade something, and that's when I realized the difference between girl and boy. Like when I used to go on all the bike rides with my brother and them. And I used to play basketball out on the street and stuff. And I remember my mom, they would just get us some new bikes. Kids, you know, my mom never talk about these skates all the time. But that's when I realized, why the hell am I doing what my brother and them like to do? Like, or with the boys from the neighborhood. Them niggas not paying attention to me. So for Christmas, I asked for some rollerblades. And baby, I was out there like, oh,
you know what I realized? So I would hang out with and this is when you like start talking about femininity.
Yeah,
I would hang
going
with
into it now.
I would hang with the partners, right? And then I didn't realize I was considered a partner until this girl from the block. I don't even know. No, she was thick. She was fine. Her name was Crystal. She ever looked at this? I don't know.
Treat her like that.
And everybody wanted to talk to Crystal.
And that's when I realized.
And I was like.
Cause why y'all want to play her?
Why y'all trying to holler at me and y'all want to talk?
I was in 5th grade.
But it done changed now.
I was in 5th grade when I realized that.
They all done tried to holler.
Yeah, cause man,
you know.
Cause I knew.
But I'm just saying, then that I was the little sis. I was the homie.
Yeah, like.
And Will ass was fine. Oh my God, Will ass was so fine. He was way older than me, but he was so fine. And he was like, oh, but I like Crystal.
You got me out here fouling you and shit, and nigga, you ain't even paying me no attention.
We ever hiking before I knew what hiking was.
Yeah, and now big Crystal can walk her big ass out because you know we was outside and stuff, slim and petite.
Come to get me at 7 o'clock in the morning. Why you gonna get that on?
So then the next summer, it's time to come outside. You like, you want to play?
No. Cause then I realized like, oh,
let me get it together. Cause baby, I'm a girl.
So by the time I got to middle school,
and that's really when I used to get in all my arguments with all the boys. I did used to get in all my arguments with them.
Yeah, a
lot of arguments.
But you know what?
Because they never was able to.
That era taught women, and this is probably a lot to do if you're a millennial or anything having to do with our relationships with men. It taught us to be real niggas.
Yeah, it
really taught us to be G's. That's the reason why we're having such of an issue. Like, there's so much like, because we were brought up to be like real. Like, I'm just saying, because what applied to them as a partner applied to us in our like.
In our relationships,
like we and our homegirls talking stuff a lot about us, so we like, dang,
why? And then we'll be sitting there talking about something, and then just think back. Have you ever talked to a dude? And this is just like, just think back, like we ain't talking about recent or nothing.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, like you ever talk to a dude and he, like y'all talking about something, and like you really telling him like from a real nigga perspective, and then like. He just get mad at you, like, rah. And then he go over there and he start talking to one of his homeboys, something, you might be with this nigga. And the homeboy say the same thing as you. I kid you not. When I was in my youthful days, you know what I'm saying? Like my 20s. Look, in my 20s, my youthful days, 20s. That's when I didn't realize what I said earlier, like, Brittany, you gotta just keep your mouth like, don't argue with nobody. Cause I used to bust down and be like, I told you that same thing.
But like what Jay say, she gotta be the realest nigga on your team.
Yeah.
She the realest nigga on your team. But the thing is that, I mean, we don't know. We're just now, I think, probably in the last 10 years, have realized, maybe less than that, 5.
Everybody don't deserve a real nigga on their team.
True.
Cause niggas like niggas.
Cause niggas hate women. We ain't going into that.
Niggas like niggas.
I'm just saying, like
they love real niggas.
Yeah. But it's like, well, what did you think? Like, cause I relate really well to men, and I'm not saying relatable like because we're the same. I'm saying like I have good conversations with partners.
Yeah.
And I'm like.
And then they feminine ass have good conversations with us too.
And I'm like, but what era? Like, you got to think about the era that we're in. So now you want me to become Miss House Betty. Yeah. And I'm like,
and the sad part of that is I could be Miss House Betty because that's what I think a woman is. Miss House Betty anyway. So
House Betty.
See, I don't mind being Miss House Betty.
I'm being Miss House Betty. That's a lot of work.
That's my relaxation though.
That's
the difference.
Yeah. You see, so I mean, it's just a difference of like, of the outlook of then when you think about, and then let me say this while we're talking about the masculine side before we move on. I feel like
we wasn't supposed to be talking about y'all.
Yeah, no, we wasn't. My dad. So by the time I started like really like liking boys or really realizing like, oh, okay, I can turn this switch on. My dad wasn't as involved, but I think early on he made sure like
you knew how to carry
equipped.
Yourself,
right? And why is that a conversation from a dad and not from a mama? And I know everybody different because some women may be up there like my mama. Because I've had conversations with people and it was like my mama made sure like this is what you wear, this is what you smell like. My dad was very instrumental. He taught me how to be fly. He taught me everything when it came to like representation, which is different.
Okay, so I'm gonna say it. Why would a woman teach you how you're supposed to be presentable to a man? She can't tell you how. She could just tell you what's presentable for her. What works for her.
Right.
And I think a lot of women have issues with trying to push stuff out. Don't tell me something that like you might could go up to a dude and tell him give you $50 or something and you need to get this done or $100 and they just lay it out.
Right.
Cause you just got that motherfucking gift the gab or something. Baby, my dad told me this is what dudes don't like that. Don't be going back and forth. Every dude that I done talk to, they don't like when I talk back to them. I might have to learn, and you know what? I might be talking back to him, but I had to learn how to use my words. Now that's something I got from my mama. I know I learned how to calm it down some, peel it back a little bit, and still say what the fuck I gotta say. But from my daddy, I learned you can't be arguing, you can't be. It's the difference between boys and girls. You can't do everything you gotta do.
And everything don't fit in the same box because I have friends who mothers may have guided them in a different way from me, right?
Yeah.
Based on maybe just how they was brought up.
Yeah.
My mama like, you don't need XYZ from nobody.
No.
Now what they can do is come and match it.
Yeah.
But you ain't got to go be looking at. But everybody is different.
Yeah.
And if that works for you, that's fine. This is what I don't like. We're now feeding a message to younger women in a generation that everything gotta be get a nigga money, get this from this man.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to be paying. Like I don't like that.
No.
Because the thing is,
it comes with something. Everything comes with something.
So now you done push this message to these younger women that they need to be going to get a nigga to get this money and get this and get that. And we not now talking about what the trauma they gonna have after doing that because they've been submissive to somebody who don't deserve it.
But you want me to tell you something too? And it ties into what you're saying. And it comes with all that stuff comes with something. But like now, and we had a different, and I said this before to you. We was raised by a different generation. I was raised by a baby boomers.
Yeah.
Baby boomers.
Yeah.
I wasn't raised by no Gen Zers, no millennials, and all that stuff.
No,
but y'all gotta think about baby boomers. Our dads taught us you don't go after a man for money, this,
right.
Like, certain stuff you just don't
do.
But then you also had a different generation that was up in there who was having kids with our parents who wasn't supposed to be having kids.
Right.
And they Gen Zers. So like millennials, cause y'all getting ready to start approaching 40 and shit. And I'm just gonna give a real nigga advice to some real niggas out there, and maybe someone take heed to it. Y'all Gen Zers and y'all millennials, if y'all still out there talking, my nose ring was coming out. If y'all still out there talking to people who is younger than y'all, which means y'all not talking to millennial women.
No.
Who was raised by these baby boomers who taught us how to cook, who taught us how to
clean,
who parents was not on crack rock.
Because a lot of us come from educated, hard-working, retired, living on
college-educated
parents
who did not grow up on no government assistance, none of that. Think about it. Y'all are talking millennials. Y'all are talking to these Gen Zers who was raised by Gen X. Who their mama probably was in school, in high school when we was in fucking middle school. They was brought up to the same fucking songs we was brought up to.
Right.
Don't trust no nigga, no. What Trina say? Niggas ain't shit, man. Okay. We was brought up in a different era. Like, they might not have had a daddy in the household.
Right.
What I'm trying to say, or if they did have a daddy, their daddy didn't give a fuck about them.
Yeah.
They telling them, nigga, you ain't supposed to be laying with no nigga and have no wet ass pussy.
Right.
And that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
Think about you being a girl and you get someone telling you, you ain't supposed to be laying with no nigga and you have a wet ass pussy. And I grew up with a dad who said, you don't go after a nigga for nothing. Nothing. I'm the big dog.
Right.
So y'all youngsters,
they giving out the wrong messages.
Y'all,
and I'm not saying now.
And like I ain't knocking no woman for whatever you do, but just do it and don't go in there like Tab say she always say, don't go ruining nobody else's day.
Right.
Don't go fucking up nobody else's life.
Yeah, not for real.
Like, so little girls, cause y'all still little girls if y'all still going after niggas for certain
and the
shit, for your hair and your nails.
And the thing is,
in a place
you can still find the femininity in being independent.
Because even though we're independent and I don't want to have to come to you for this, but I don't mind if you take something off my plate. Here go my plate.
And the thing about it is, if I'm such a real nigga, why would you not want to?
Yeah.
Why would you not want to?
Don't text me no, hey, beautiful.
You should. That should be an indication. See,
yeah, we got the fuck. Cause I feel like shit like that.
But I'm saying we got it misconstrued.
Yeah.
If I'm being real to you, that's an honor.
Cause I should go both
ways. Thank you.
If you need something,
exactly. And so
I could easily come and pick something up off your ass.
It should not be just one side.
No.
Oh, well, just because I do this and this and this, then that constitutes that. No, that's not what it means. That's not what it means.
No.
But we are giving out, and I'm not saying that there
we're
can't
giving
be
out
balance
too.
Oh my God!
See, I have a son and I have a daughter,
and
so
I have our boys, and so I'm like,
we're giving them false. And I'm glad my son listens to everything. I always make the comment. I say, if y'all listen to nothing else mama say, I say, if y'all listen to nothing else your mama say, listen to this.
Yes.
He's in 6th grade right now, and he's talking about how everybody doing these promposals and all this other stuff, and they got their little girlfriends, and they getting them Valentine's Day gifts and shit. And I say, well, I'm so glad that you ain't into all that right now, because I'm not buying nobody else no motherfucking Valentine's Day.
In the 6th grade.
In the 6th grade. Because you don't need nobody to be liking you for what the fuck you got.
What you giving them?
Because at this young age, they liking you for what the fuck you could give them. Let your fucking daddy do that shit.
You should just like them because you like them because that's normal.
Yeah, because we both playing Roblox and shit.
Right.
Matter of fact, like,
why are we getting? No, I'm not. No.
Like, no. Bitch, what can you do for me? That's exactly, bitch, what can you do for me? And I'm not teaching him to. I teach both of them. No, you don't go into nothing depending on nobody.
Yeah.
You have your own. Make sure they have their own. If you get them a gift, make sure they give you a gift.
Yeah.
So you ain't walking over there like this, and then they walking over here like nothing.
Yeah, and it's appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
Now I did give 1 year for, I think Connor was right.
But it's okay.
Right. Yeah, giving them, but they're, I'm saying
but as we get older, that's something that we learn.
To be friends, too. Yeah, and what I do want our, boys to understand at this age, like, because I think there has been a very
what's meaningful
mixed signal about what men and then what women should do. I'm like, you need to be able to do it all. You need to be able to cook and clean on your own. You need to be able to wash your own clothes. Because whatever she brings, you don't need to be putting that off on her that's specifically what she should be doing. No, because if you can do that all yourself, when she come along, that's an added to you. You're an add to her based on those things.
Yeah, that's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
So why? No, and we have to do. We just got to do a better job.
And that's just like a woman. If you could cook, you could clean, you got your own money, you can pay your bills, you got everything covered. When a man come into your life, it should just bring out the best in you.
Right.
It shouldn't deplete you.
No. Or deplete you or be a come up.
Yeah. And like man, and so basically that's what we're saying with women. When you go, as we evolve in my journey of womanhood and all this stuff, I realized that a lot of things throughout my womanhood, I don't allow things to deplete me anymore.
Yes. Oh, that's good. I know we talked about that.
We talked about that too.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's something like, as a woman, if I could give any unsolicited advice to another woman, ladies, basically what we're saying, like, even though you trying to get the money, you trying to get this, and you trying to get the nigga to do this, and you talk to multiple niggas and all this stuff, don't allow anything that you're doing to deplete you.
Yes.
As a woman.
Right. Because
really, to be honest, when you have a certain mind frame, you still haven't evolved through that journey in your one. Like you're a woman because your sex is right. You got the boobs. You got like you was born with that piece. Yeah, female. But technically, to be honest, you're not a woman until you realize like you just can't. You gotta know when to remove yourself from certain situations,
and you have to honor it. I think we don't honor ourselves enough, and then we can't
embrace who you are,
and then we expect somebody else to do that out of just the thin blue air, like you haven't done that yourself. Like you gotta really be in tune with who you are.
Okay, and not only in tune. I'm gonna say this, and like everybody kind of made her like a joke on like social media platforms. But I don't give a fuck what nobody say. That's why I feel like her whole thing, and I hadn't even did like research background on her, but Rick Ross' baby mama, big business, standing on big business, because she's a realtor if I'm not mistaken. Like she's established within herself. But like when she get up there and she acting a clown and stuff, the reason why she could act a clown like that
because she know herself.
Because she know herself. Yeah. She's very aware of herself.
Yeah.
She's established.
Yeah.
And she didn't do that because of Rick Ross.
No, yeah.
That's why she be like, I'm standing on motherfucking business. Because she did that shit. Yeah. Basically what we saying is why y'all making it a joke. Some people it's funny.
Yeah. No, but she's definitely entertaining.
She's definitely entertaining.
Yeah.
But she could be entertaining like that.
Yeah.
And like, that's even like, if we go back to the question where you like, that's something kind of like my dad, he kind of said like, as long as you standing on your business and you got everything handled, you can do whatever you want to.
And the thing is, and then this is the part of my womanism that I have realized. I'm going to be strong. Yeah. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to be the strong woman no more. But if that is your highest element that gets you to where you need to be, without it being stressed or you're being that strong for everybody else. Yes. That ain't what I'm talking about. When you're in tune with who your core is, and that helps you jump from whatever chapter you in, whatever next season you're in, it's okay to be that. But I also want to be able to have the balance where I can be soft when I'm not in that energy.
Or you can have fun and nobody be like, oh, she's too masculine.
Because the strength is going to get us to where we need to go.
Yeah, because I might want to stand up on someone's couch.
If we out having a good time. Because the thing is, I'm a stronghold to get us to the couch.
Yeah. But it's the truth.
It's okay. Like, we take
you should be so aware of yourself.
Yeah, we're trying to like downplay or like misconstrue because everybody is different. Everybody makeup is different when it comes to who they are as a woman. Like, what works for you? Like they talk about the Nora Jones lady. Yeah. On TikTok who makes everything from scratch. Yes. Hey. If Lord could bring me back as a woman, let me be Nora.
She cooked everything from scratch.
Baby, she will, if she'll say, oh, my kids wanted grilled cheese sandwiches today. She making the bread. She makes the cheese. Oh. Like, but that's, one is you have to know that gotta be her love language. Yeah. Because why are you even doing that? And she's pregnant, 2 little kids. Oh. And a husband, and she every morning she cooks everything from scratch.
That's Tiffany.
That is Tiffany. But that's Tiffany loves that.
Yeah, and she even made me start cooking stuff.
Girl, I told Corey the other day because he posted something on Snap. I don't know if he gonna watch this, and I said, please share your wife. He talking about never. I said, good house.
Thank you. Cause baby.
But I'm saying like, but if that's what you enjoy, like if that's who you are, that's fine. But everybody else ain't gonna be Nora, baby. Yeah. Everybody else ain't gonna be Tiffany.
No, cause baby, she gets in there and we was on the phone one time and baby, she cooked something up so goddamn. I said, "What you cook, Tiffany?" And it just be so
like things you go to Papa Do's.
I did some scallops. Some I said. One day we was on the phone, she was so proud of me, and she said, "What you cook, Bryt?" I said, "Girl, I did some salmon."
Oh yeah, matter of fact, that was the other day.
That was the other day, baby.
Talking about that one time. That was like Wednesday. So Thursday.
I did that with my little potatoes.
Yeah.
I said, "Y'all, it was so good. I forgot to take a picture of it." I was so proud of myself because she made me want to get in there. Made me forget, like,
it looks different for everybody. It looks different.
And that's my journey on womanhood. Like, I can honestly say women. I love women to that point where you able to push something or bring something out of someone else where we probably might have suppressed. Like with Tiffany, she made me realize, like, bitch, you know how to cook too. Like, get in there and do it.
Yeah.
Like, so she brings that out of me. Nita, baby, she's gonna always bring out, bitch, take your time. Get yourself all the way together. Mm-hmm. Be fly.
Well, I learned
sit in that energy.
I learned from one of my best friends the catering part. Because I didn't see that from my mom and dad, like as far as like what you give to someone else. I ain't never see my mama make my daddy plate. Now my daddy was the cooker though. Yeah. So, but I'm just saying I don't physically remember that. Yeah. It's like, no, you're supposed to, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you have to, and that's important about your soul tribe because you rub off your nurturism. How you nurture your kids. Mm-hmm. I have a cousin like that.
I have an aunt who's very similar to Tiffany, like with the cooking. Mm-hmm. My aunt Sharon. I call her my aunt Bobo. That's her last name. But who that lady? Her and my mom. I don't know who cooked best because they both cook. Mm-hmm. But hey, we the oldest grandkids on my mama's side. So baby. When she didn't have no kids, we used to go over there with her. But she'd go sit in the kitchen and she'll just sing and she'll cook. Ooh, and she'll put it together. She don't drink no alcohol. She don't do, and I always, that's another woman I always admire. Well, yeah. Because I'm going to be like her when I get older.
Aunt Darlene, as we go back to her, and my Uncle James have been together since they were 13. Like, they're like the epitome of like, in our family, of like everybody that know Uncle James. Uncle James probably knew every aunt and uncle that passed away on my mom. Like, he's literally a brother to them.
You see, that's my uncle and my dad. But my dad and my mom like that.
Yeah, because they've been together forever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So everybody just know Aunt Cynthia. Yeah. Like, that's Aunt Cynthia on my dad's side, and that's Uncle Milton on my mom's side. And they just seen everybody come through.
Can turn your madness into happiness.
And that's my Aunt Bobo.
Like, it's a gift of like, you know what? I mean, she just is just.
That's one person that I could honestly say I would let her pray for me.
Girl.
If she pray for you, baby,
I tell mama, you know, I'm gonna call her Darlene.
Can you pray for me right now? Yes, and you ain't gotta tell her what you praying for. But right when she start praying, she gonna come it out. It's gonna come right on.
It's gonna come in there because you gonna cry.
Yeah. Cover her, and you'll be covered. Baby, but she'll get in there and cook this, mommy, and then she'll do. But she make her husband plate. He just sit there and he just. So my mom, she don't make plates. My daddy say, that's not a requirement for her.
Okay.
But he tell her she don't know how to make plates too.
Oh, so he's the server. Does he serve?
No, they make their own plate.
Oh, okay.
Everybody make their own plate. Okay. The food is done. Food is ready.
Okay, so everybody come in and do that.
But they sit down and eat together.
Okay.
But baby, she don't touch that plate. I could make my daddy plate. She couldn't.
See, all the men that was in my house.
And I didn't think I was gonna be a woman who made plates.
See, I love serving though. But that is a part of my womanism that turned. And I know it's definitely from having
that's part children. Of my feminine.
Yeah.
And it didn't come with children. It's just that's something that I like to that's a natural submission that I like to do for people. Like if I'm like, I'll cater to you. Okay. But
mine came with definitely with motherhood.
But my masculine
so let's dig into that. Let's talk about
my masculine part.
Masculine. I know we kind of done.
If I match it, if I'm not if I don't talk to you like that, I feel like that's disrespectful for a man to ask me to do anything domestic for him if I'm not fucking on you. And not necessarily fucking on you. Like if I don't even love you, like nigga, why are you asking me like who,
to be domestic?
Like who's here fucking you? And they might be there. But that's what they supposed to be doing. Yeah. So that's something as a woman that I never understood. Why other women jump up and just be getting shit for people. Man, nigga, sit your ass down. Let the nigga get the shoes on. Yeah, because we all got legs.
Yeah, he definitely got to be.
Yeah. Can you give me a beer? No, nigga, fuck.
Yeah.
So that's where my masculine instantly kick in. Like if it's just someone, like we just sitting somewhere and we had like get together and I'm getting some from my person, and then someone turn around and be like,
because the thing,
can you make me a plate
too? The thing I think for me that I enjoy serving is when it's appreciated. So I'm not just gonna be up. And I think as women,
let me ask you, do you want
or people? We have to be better at like
peeling back on
it. The plugs have to match. Like I just can't be just giving you everything and we not no, like, because the thing is then how I'm gonna learn to be a better partner. And see, that's my thing now. Like I'm a better partner when somebody inputs into me, because otherwise you just gonna be running, like we talked about, you just gonna be running on empty. And then be mad while you're running on empty. No, because eventually we need to be somewhat in sync.
Gotta be,
because why am I doing that? We're not there.
I listened to a video and they was explaining like the equally yoked part. And I know we was going into like the feminine and masculine part. They was describing the equally yoked part, and they stated, this lady said, you know, a lot of people get equally yoked misunderstood. And they always,
you shared this with me, didn't you?
I think so.
Okay.
And they was talking about like basically like, why would you go out and go be with someone who got the same strengths as you?
Right. So
if I communicate good, why would you go out and get someone who's a good communicator? But they don't know, and y'all both don't know how to handle money. Like y'all gonna be two broke talking motherfuckers.
Right. Like, right.
You get what I'm saying?
She called it something else.
Yeah.
It's not equally yoked. It's it's a real good word that she used. She said instead of trying to be equally yoked, you should be.
No, that's what equally yoked means.
But she used it and she said another word. She said instead of being equally yoked, you should be in whatever that word was. We had to put up a video. I remember. But basically she was
I don't know, but she was just describing what, like, so basically if your right is weak and your left is strong, like you need someone who's gonna be able to strengthen up that right side of you. Right. So like it's like if I'm a good communicator, but you good with money, because that's my weakness, like, that's what connects us.
Yeah.
Because someone got to be like, everything got to have a thing.
Because the thing is, if you're too comfortable, how you going to grow?
Yeah.
If we're too comfortable, and then I'm going to...
Or if you set in your ways and you got someone who want to go with the flow,
yeah,
that could help you out, because it might help you get out your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Make you be more adventurous.
And then the other piece of that I was going to say is, if we're too comfortable and we can't grow, then I'm going to be resentful of the fact that every time you try to tell me something, because I'm like, well, we the same.
Yeah.
How we gonna, like, no, you're gonna always be in a cycle. Right. We have to be able to do that. And let me say this, because I know a lot of times there's been conversations where men say, oh, well, women don't want no growth, they don't want this, they don't want that. But let me say this. In order to be submissive, in order to want to grow with somebody, there has to be a level of, there has to be a level of dang, I forgot I was going with this. Oh, I forgot where I was going with this.